Hello friends, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to my Path of Exile video explaining the Betrayal Syndicate mechanic. In this video, I'll be explaining the detailed mechanics of the Syndicate, the rewards it can offer, how to farm Syndicate, and how to manipulate the Syndicate board for yourself and customize your rewards. This video will be fairly long and contain a variety of topics and details, so I'll provide timestamps in the description so you can find or rewatch a specific part if you'd like to. So what is the Immortal Syndicate exactly? It's a shady coalition of previous allies and enemies along with some new faces that have achieved immortality through necromancy. These traitors and their colleagues will show up starting in Act 9 of the campaign with various encounters depending on their division within the Syndicate. There are 4 such divisions: Transportation, Fortification, Research, and Intervention. June, a new master, is investigating the Syndicate, and she'll be keeping track of the members on her investigation board. You can view this board when interacting with June and view which division each member is in, their ranks within the Syndicate, their rivalries and alliances, as well as items they may be holding, which will modify their difficulty in battle. The goal of this investigation is to gather enough intelligence to find the safe houses of each division, which in turn will provide you with intelligence to find the mastermind of the operation. The first important thing to note on the board is the ranks of the members, which can rank from 0 to 3 stars. The members must have at least 1 star to be affiliated with the division and provide rewards in the safe house. The higher the rank, the better the reward provided by the members. I'll cover the reward specifics to each member and division shortly. Another important feature is the little threads connecting the members. There are 3 colored threads: red, green, and yellow. Red means that they are rivals. This means that they'll come to assist you in a fight against their rival members, making the fight a little bit easier. Green means that they trust each other. This allows members to come and assist other members, and will also give you the option for betrayals, which can help you manipulate the Syndicate in ways that we will discuss later. And finally, the yellow thread means they are within the same division, meaning that they will be at the hideout or safe house of the division and provide their rewards when you reach the required intelligence to find that safe house. Each division has its own encounters, so you'll be able to tell which one you're fighting on site. Transportation is delivering a caravan that travels from one location to a portal along a path. You must stop them by defeating the Syndicate members before they reach their destination. Research has an underground laboratory. Once you enter it, the scientists will attempt to destroy the evidence before you recover it. You'll kill the rare enemies in this area, and once you've killed enough of them, the Syndicate members of the Research Division themselves will show up and try to stop you and get rid of the evidence themselves. Fortification has a base setup that they'll be trying to defend. It has a doorway or 2 along with turrets that'll fire at you. While you destroy the doorway, there will be enemies and Syndicate members that'll teleport outside the door to try to stop you. Break down the door and defeat the members within. Lastly is Intervention. Members of Syndicate will teleport to your location and start to attack you. There isn't really any warning, however, I do believe that they'll attack you when you encounter a rare pack or a unique monster. Upon defeating all the members of the Syndicate, they'll be captured. You'll be able to speak to them, and you'll have 2 options available to you. The first option will always be to interrogate. This will imprison the member for 3 encounters and provide you with intelligence with each completed encounter. This will also lower their rank by 1. If they're currently rank 1 when interrogated, they'll drop to rank 0 and be removed from whichever division they're currently in. This will be useful for manipulating the placement of members and will factor into a later part of the video. The second option will be either bargain, execute, or betray. There are always the option to release the member using the button of the little running man near the bottom, which allows them to escape with no changes, keeping their rank but providing no intelligence or drops. Bargaining is an option that'll appear if the member is alone or the last one to be spoken to, as they don't want witnesses within the organization for their bribe. There are a pretty huge range of options given as bargains. This includes special drops, the option to remove them from the Syndicate, getting rid of all items or rivalries, raising a member's rank, and much more. This is generally a great option if it doesn't mess up the placement you have on the board that you want to set up. Execution is another option that can come up. The Syndicate actually smiles upon those who die for the cause, and execution will result in the member being raised by a rank. This is actually pretty metal as a way to get a promotion. If there are two members that are rivals and have no thread between them at all present, you'll have the option to execute one of them. If there are three members present, you'll always have the option to execute the first one you speak to make an example of them. Finally, there's an option for betrayal. If there are two friendly members present, you'll get this option, which will either put the members as rivals or even in some cases give you the option to remove a member from the Syndicate. This can be important because there are 17 members of the Syndicate, but only 14 slots available on the board. This means that you cannot have every member available, and when setting up your board, it's wise to exclude some of the less rewarding members. Now I want to talk about the special rewards provided by each member. The reward will depend on the ranks and divisions of the members. The higher the rank, the higher reward, of course. The graphics used here were found on PoELab.com's Syndicate cheat sheet. I'll provide a link to that cheat sheet in the description below. The thumbs indicate how valuable they think each reward is, but I'll be giving my own opinions on this. We'll start in alphabetical order, starting with Aisling. Aisling offers double veiled items in transportation, fortification, and intervention, the types listed here. This isn't particularly good aside from maybe early on when you're trying to unlock your crafts. I'm more interested in the add veiled mod option from research. At higher ranks, you'll have the option of adding 2 veiled mods to the item. This can function as basically a multi-mod with some RNG if you're alt-regal crafting some gear, or if you have 4 property gear with good mods that you don't want to exalt. You could get some pretty nice items off this. Next is Chimeria. As you can see, Chimeria has some really nice options regardless of the division. Transportation will give you a league-specific unique, some of which are extremely valuable, although there are way more bad ones that won't be worth much, so it's a little bit RNG. On the other hand, Intervention provides Sulfite Scarabs, which are always quite valuable and in demand. People love to push Del. So I would personally recommend Intervention for very consistent profit, or so that you can push the Delve yourself. Elrion gives uniques, or the scarab that increases unique drop rates. Honestly, I don't really consider him a very high priority at all. Gravitius gives completed divination card sets in transportation and divination card scarabs in intervention. My personal preference is transportation because there's actually a ton of really great divination card sets that you could hit for pretty solid profit. But if you are target farming an Elder T16 for specific divination cards, Scarab might be a better way to get that consistent profit for you. Guff allows for crafting with various currencies depending on his division, but you're only given a short time limit to do it. Even at rank 3, you're only given 20 seconds to make the craft. I honestly don't really like doing this and consider Guff a very strong candidate for removal from the Syndicate. Haku is pretty unexciting as well. He gives strongbox scarabs in intervention, which is nice if you want to do some high-level map strongbox crafting, or if you're using strongbox sextants, but honestly, I'm fine with booting Haku as well. Hillock can be great if you're just getting your endgame gear. He allows you to add quality of 24 to 28% to weapons, armor, and flasks, depending on the division. It's great if you have unique gear that you'll continue to use, or even to increase the quality to improve chances for a 6-link, for instance. The flasks from research are really nice too until you have all of your flasks high quality. That only takes 5 safe houses, and after that, really isn't all that useful. If That Fled can be one of the most profitable of them all, but requires that you have breachstones to upgrade. Pure breachstones sell quite well, so having him in research is great if you have either of the breachstones, or if you're willing to buy them in order to upgrade them. The big problem with this is if everybody buys breachstones to upgrade them with It That Fled, it'll become less and less profitable as they become more and more numerous, and it's not really worth it at that point. Janus provides currency shards in fortification and Parandus coins in research, which also spawns Kadiro. Currency shards can be really nice, as you could get an exalted shard or even mere shards, and everyone likes a nice bro deal from Kadira. Jorgen isn't all that great in my opinion. It's easy enough to farm bestiary items from bestiary itself. That being said, in research you can actually transform an amulet into a talisman with the same stats. This can be really great if you have a pretty decent amulet with a bad base type and want to get a really good talisman in place instead. The rank will determine whether you get a tier 1, 2, or 3 talisman as well, making it easier for you to farm certain types of talismans. For instance, you can have him at rank 3 to get a tier 3 Spine Fuse talisman, or rank 1 for a tier 1 Undying Flesh talisman for an additional zombie for summoners. Coral can give Uberitziri or Fragments for Shaper, while in Fortification at high ranks, or Fossils in Research. Fragments can be really valuable in early league, and Fossils generally can be valuable pretty much at any time, so I feel like starting the league with him in Fortification, and then potentially later moving him to Research could be good. Leo has a nice little bit of utility in Research. At rank 2 he can give you a free Divine use, and at tier 3 he can give you a free Exalt use. This will allow you to Exalt Slam some good gear without having to invest into it directly, or you can divine poorly rolled high value uniques. Riker is one of the ones that I really like to have in Transportation, as it gives you a take 1 in currency. Similar to Guff, the take 1s are timed like the crafting, giving you 8 seconds to choose. I personally find the divination card one harder to do, as you have to look at all of them individually in 8 seconds, so I like the currency one from Transportation, or the unique item one for Fortification. Rin gives unique maps in Research, which can be good in early league for Atlas completion, but really shines in Intervention for the cartography scarabs. Getting more maps is always better, especially in your high tier red maps. Tora has some really nice options as well. More random take 1 for Transportation. Not really my style with the RNG involved, but it can be somewhat profitable. And Harbinger scarabs are nice, but honestly you can just use the Zana mod in most leagues. The real winner here, I think, is the gem experience. You can add 20, 70, or 200 million experience to a gem. This is great for leveling up gems very quickly, and adding 200 million experience to an Empower or one of the other high experience required gems can help you turn a profit on or use them much more quickly. Vagan is pretty great. All of his options are good. I personally like the Legion Splinters from Transportation, but I don't really think you can go wrong with any of the options for Vagan. Just get Vagan on your board and rank him up to rank 3 for sure, because he's got some really great options. Lastly, we have Varici. We talked about this in the previous video, but having him in Research allows you to color 1 to 3 of the sockets on one of your items to white, improving their utility and versatility greatly. I would go with this option, but he's also not bad in Fortification for the socket currency. You can get some fuses, chromes, and jewelers, which is nice. Now that you have an idea about which rewards you may want, I'm going to talk about reliable ways to farm the Syndicate, so you can start setting up your board. The best way to farm is through mapping with the daily missions and random encounters in maps. However, you will run out of daily missions very quickly. So to set up your initial board, it's probably best to do it in the story acts. Since Betrayal League, farming Syndicate and Scenario has been nerfed, rather than having 3 encounters in the act zones, you'll only get 1. This slows things down pretty considerably, but there is still a fairly fast way to do this. First off, you'll need to be at least in Act 9. I would recommend Quarry, which has been a very reliable way to do this all along because of how small and circular it is. You'll load into Quarry and pay attention to your load time. Then you'll run a circle around the quarry and check out for any league mechanics. If there's any sulfite or alva is there, then you'll want to circle back around to the waypoint and control click the quarry in the map to open a new instance. Once you know your regular load time, you can stop running the circle and just watch that. You'll notice a prompt if a Fortification, Transportation, or Research mission is in the zone, but you'll notice that there's no prompt for Intervention. This is why we want to make note of our load time. My normal load time is about 2 to 3 seconds, but if there's a Syndicate encounter, it's more like 5 seconds. Sometimes my load time will be a little bit longer if Elvis Temple encounter is there as well, but you'll quickly be able to see it and then return to the waypoint. Once you get a longer load time, simply go around killing rares, and eventually you'll be ambushed by the Intervention Brigade. Setting up in scenario can take hours, so I'll put some of my videos on in the background and get to it, because it's definitely worth setting it up before you get mapping. Now let's talk about how to manipulate the board. Currently, using everything I've told you, you can easily get to the mastermind and do that fight if you wish. I don't really think that's the best strategy for farming up lots of loot and profit in the long run, but if you do want to do the fight, all you have to do is keep getting the safe houses, and if you defeat the mastermind, it will reset your board, but it won't if you only defeat the safe houses. That's the main reason I'm choosing not to defeat the mastermind in my set. I won't spoil the fight, but if you wish, there's plenty of footage and guides on YouTube for the fight, so you can go check those out. The strategy I'm going to use is going to involve getting as many of the members friendly with each other as possible. You'll want to avoid making rivalries, and instead you'll create cohesion and fellowship within the syndicate. The green ropes are your friends. This will allow you to more easily rank up the members and also move them to the divisions you desire. How, you may ask? Well, friendly members will attack you together during their encounters. Always having 3 members attacking you will allow you to rank up a member of your choice, as you'll always be given the option to execute for the first member you speak to in that scenario. Friendly rank 0 members that come along will also be given the option to join the division they helped if they come to the aid of their friend. This means you can move unranked members to the division of your choice. For instance, say you have Varici at rank 1 in transportation, but you want to move him into research. You would simply do a transportation mission, put him in jail by interrogating him, which drops him down to rank 0, and now once he's escaped jail, if he's friendly with a member of research, he can attack you when you do a research mission. At that point, you simply give him +1 rank and have him join research for good, and continue to rank him up to rank 3 for that triple white socket reward. Having lots of friendships means you can also potentially access the betrayal option. This makes it easier for you to remove members that you don't find valuable. For instance, I might want to get rid of Elrion, Haku, and Guff, and so by making them friendly with other members, I can increase the odds of removing them with a betrayal option to make sure that I have the other 14 syndicate members active on my board. Once you have everyone where you want them, you'll want to use the release option, the little running man in the corner, on the high priority ones, rather than dropping them back below rank 3, unless they do have an option for a beneficial bargain. The lower priority members that you don't care about the rewards as much, you can repeatedly drop down to rank 2 and then increase them back up to rank 3 in order to gather intelligence. By having them in jail as rank 3s, you'll gain a lot more intelligence. I'll leave it up to you as to which members you want to prioritize for this, but I feel it's the best method to quickly get a good amount of safe houses and maximize the value per encounter. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, check out some of my other videos or my new player playlist in the description, and also consider checking out my Patreon in the description, or joining my channel as a member to contribute to the channel. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye!